What's up? You are back to IT. Today I'm going to finally tell the story of how I got into technology and became a business intelligence developer. So it's a lot of backstory to this story and it's a lot of twists and turns, but I'm just going to give you the stuff that I think you would be interested in hearing because it's so much that I did, and it's so many things that were going through my mind even before I started to pursue this career. The first thing is, I really felt like I was tired of jobs. I wanted a career. And I was tired of going to another job, you know what I'm saying? At this particular time, let me take you back to 2020, the end of 2020. At this time, I was a leave of absence specialist, basically someone who helped employees apply for FMLA and all of that stuff. And I did that because I had experience. I had some previous experience doing that. But again, it was a job and I was tired of working jobs. I knew that I could do better. To be honest, I knew I could do better. And I knew I should have been doing better. So I made a conscious decision in December of 2020 that when January 2021 came, I was going to be going hard towards whatever it was. I was going to be going hard towards something. So during this time, around the holidays of 2020, I decided that I'm going to get my first certification. And I didn't tell anybody about it. I chose a database fundamental certification. I figured, okay, it costs $90 something. That's inexpensive. If I don't pass it, I can retake it. I wouldn't tell anybody about it. It would just be my little private thing that I got going on just to see if I think the doubt in me at this time was, you know, being in my 40s, not sure whether I could jump out here in technology and keep up with the competitive market. I think that was my biggest doubt. This is why I kept it a secret. So I set aside 5 weeks. As soon as January hit, I set aside 5 weeks. It was after the week of the 7th. It was the second week in January. I set aside 5 weeks. I studied sun up, sundown, even riding around in the car reciting database stuff that I had learned. I went really hard because when I focus on something, I get tunnel vision. Long story short, I got this certification. I was so excited. But more important than that, it gave me a lot of motivation. It let me know, it validated me it let me know that I could still retain information. You know, I could still get out here and learn, which, you know, I was counting doubt on myself at this time. So, as we all do, once we pass one certification, we prepare for another one. I had done some research and heard about cloud technology, how everything was moving towards the cloud. So I began to research all the top cloud, you know, technology giants, AWS, Microsoft, and, you know, Google. And I decided to go for, since I started Microsoft, I was going to do Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. So I took this one. I did the same thing, 5 weeks, took this one, but I didn't pass it the first time. I came back a week after that and I passed it. So at this point, your boy got 2 certifications. I was so excited because I never had a certification in my life. So I had 2 certifications, even though they were fundamentals. Those were some key short-term goals and they motivated me to really keep pushing. So I got these 2 certifications, and at this time, I basically just knew basic database, basic cloud technology as it relates to Microsoft Azure, and some basic SQL, okay? You with me? All right. So I started to watch YouTube. I'm gonna tell you, I learned probably 90% of what I learned was on YouTube. So I started to watch YouTube and I stumbled across day in the life videos of developers, and I just went on a binge for weeks. And I said to myself, this is the kind of life I want. I want to do what I want to do. And I said, okay, this is my opportunity to get into technology. So I was just kind of pumping myself up some more. And I said, okay, this is really my opportunity. I started seeing some older guys get out there. That motivated me, made me feel like I could still get out there and do it. I still had a lot of work to get done. And I knew that, you know, at this point, I knew that I can get out here. I was confident at this point. So I had to build that confidence up. So I stumbled across a data scientist video, A Day in the Life, and I'm watching his videos and I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't see myself doing that. I didn't really resonate with the data scientist, you know, work and all of that stuff, but what this video led me to was Python. This data scientist was promoting Python. He was like, you really should learn Python. He grabbed the book, he held it up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn Python. So I ordered the book, had the book within 2 days of watching that video. I told y'all I don't play. When I'm focused on something, I do not play. I had the book 2 days after watching the video. I started learning Python, diving in, and I'll say maybe like 2 months after that, basic Python was kind of drilling itself in my head. I had basic SQL, basic Python, and I knew a lot about basics, I guess, fundamentals of databases. So since I wasn't interested in data scientists, I said there has to be other roles out there. This can't be the only data role. So I researched other data roles and I saw data analyst. That didn't really resonate with me as much as when I came across data engineering. Now, I'm gonna put some things in perspective. I'm a naturally creative person, so I like to create things. I'll just throw that out there because it'll make sense once I tell this story. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I wanna use SQL because SQL was fun for me. I enjoyed using SQL to query data. Python was fun for me because I like to create, as I just said. I like to create different things. I can create applications and I can create it, excuse me. I like the idea of being able to create according to the way my mind works. So it was fascinating to me. So I can use SQL, I can use Python. I learned something about databases, so it made sense to me to pursue data engineering. Now, once I really found out what data engineers do on a day-to-day, I said, this is what I want to do. And I got excited about it. I said, oh, I get to create pipelines. And the funniest thing is that when I first found out about pipelines, I didn't know what a pipeline was. I was like, damn, what is a pipeline? What are they talking about with this pipeline? It took a minute for me to understand that with technology, there's a lot of conceptual things that you got to understand. They don't really mean the cloud. You know, I kind of had to reprogram my mind to be able to understand concepts, okay? So I went on this binge of diving deep directly into data engineering. Now, I learned data engineering before anything else. I just went right in. I started teaching myself GitHub, Linux commands, because I knew I would need to use Linux. I started teaching myself Docker, eventually Airflow. There's another one that I cannot think of that comes with the Mac that allows you to schedule different jobs. Somebody out there, if you know what I'm talking about, post that in the box below and just let me know what I'm trying to say, because I can't think of the name right now. Cron, C-R-O-N. I learned how to use that. I learned how to create scripts. I learned how to connect to databases using Python scripts to transfer data from one database to another. I learned all of this within, I'll say a good maybe 4 months, because it took me a minute. And the reason it took me a minute is because as I was learning data engineering, I had so many people tell me, hey, excuse me. I had so many people tell me, listen, you don't have no technical background and no technical experience. You're not gonna get a data engineering job without experience. You're not gonna get a job without any kind of experience. That's a big, big role. You need to know a lot of different aspects of data to get that job. So, you know, I won't lie, that kind of discouraged me. But I started learning data analytics. So I learned data engineering before data analytics. Started learning data analytics and I began to enjoy data analytics. Not as much as data engineering, but I began to enjoy it. You know, previously I had put up some resistance. I was like, I don't want to do that. I was really being resistant. But I learned data analytics. Now, When I learned the basics of data analytics and data engineering, I started applying to both jobs. Didn't matter whether it was data analyst or data engineering. I was applying to both, even though I knew I couldn't get a data engineering job with no technical background. That didn't even make sense. So I applied to jobs throughout the year. I had tons of rejection emails, but I also got some interviews for both. Believe it or not, I got some interviews for both. And apparently I didn't get the jobs, apparently. So at the end of 2021, this is all happening in 2021. So at the end of 2021, I decided to change my approach. I realized that everything surrounding the word data scientist, data engineer, data analyst was heavily saturated. Like everybody was applying for the same jobs. So I said to myself, I need to think of a strategy to kind of go around it. I said, okay, maybe I need to find another way to get into data engineering. This is when I started to realize that I can use business intelligence. So then I started to change my resumes up to fit business intelligence, as well as doing research on business analytics and really understanding what business intelligence was. And it is still heavily involved in data. I just needed to know what the focus was and what the main goal was, helping organizations use their data to make better business decisions. That's the overall goal, okay? So once I really studied that for like a month, and I started applying to business intelligence analyst, business intelligence developer, and business intelligence engineer. Those were the 3 roles. I started getting so many replies from BI analysts and mainly BI analyst roles, a couple BI developer roles, and maybe like one business intelligence engineer role. So I was getting all this feedback, or at least recruiters were reaching out for BI, roles. And I just started interviewing. I just kept interviewing for these roles until finally one of the roles was for an attorney office, and they was looking for a business intelligence analyst. And I interviewed for the role. It was in the works. They was really interested in working with me. But at the same time, I was being interviewed by another organization. And this other organization, I had applied for not even the business intelligence developer role. I had applied for something like an associate strategist role. I was just trying to play it safe. I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to play it safe. The second company ended up contacting me for a business intelligence developer. And I later found out that the reason they contacted me for business intelligence developer was because I had most of data. It was a heavy data engineer type of role, which leaned more towards that developer position. So that's this is how I got into technology. The first organization that reached out, the first organization ended up making an offer. And I'll admit that I did go along with that offer, but I was really waiting on the second organization to make an offer because I felt a strong connection with them. So the second organization made an offer, and I will admit it was double my salary that I was currently making. It was really a good situation, and I actually had never had a job approach me in that way, in a way I never felt so valued by an organization. So I knew the right thing was to go with this second job, and that's what I did. So I'm currently a business intelligence developer. And you might be saying, well, you spoke about being a data engineer and you're a business intelligence developer. Listen, baby steps, because now I'm gonna bring it full circle. I really didn't have much experience. So even for me to make it to a business intelligence developer role in like a year and a half of learning data analytics and data engineering is kind of unheard of. So I hope this story inspired you to let you know that, yeah, there was plenty of days where I got discouraged. There was plenty of days where I was thinking about just giving up and I was just finished with it. There was plenty of days where I was annoyed, but one of the things that I didn't stop doing was I never stopped learning. I never stopped reaching out to people who were professionals in those industries, because I'm a firm believer, even though you don't have experience, you can learn from experienced people. And when you get in these interviews, you will come across more experience when you're learning from experienced people. And that's what I think ultimately happened. I learned a lot from people who had been data engineers for 3, 4, 5 years, or software engineers for 4 or 5 years. I learned a lot from them. So when I was in those interviews, I was able to incorporate all that stuff that I've learned. And I think it made me come across as more experienced. So I hope you like the story. I hope you are inspired. You can get out there just like I did. I had no background in technology, and now making double salary, great benefits, great organization, in a great situation, all right? So if you like this story, please post a comment in the box below. Let me know of some topics or things you want to hear about in the future, and I'll consider those for future videos, all right? Till next time, please like, share, subscribe to my channel, post a comment in the box below. Peace.